Now
This
it's very good.
conference will now be recorded.
Okay.
Ravi? Ravi, can you connect audio? Ravi,
Hello.
Yeah, hello.
Yeah, hi Ravi. Shiv here.
Uh,
Good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, so now you can see my screen.
Sorry?
Sorry, can you see my screen?
Yeah, I can see it. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So audio also proper, right?
Your voice is not clear.
Mm, to Shiva, you can hear properly.
yeah, it's coming very good.
Yeah, actually I have connected properly. I don't know what's the issue. So Ravi, can you hear? I mean, is it not coming at all, or it's very low or something?
Uh, like yesterday, I can hear your voice, but at the same time, I can hear the noise as well.
Okay. Actually, everything is low.
Okay, do one thing, Shiva. Can you join
Hmm.
mobile also? Can you join mobile also?
Okay.
Ravi, మాకు బాగానే వస్తుంది మరి మీకు ఎందుకు వస్తుంది తెలియదు కానీ
Buzzing sounds వస్తున్నాయి.
Shiva, unmute and talk.
Hello,
Yeah.
can you hear me?
Shiv, change the audio settings in laptop. No audio. Go to the GoToMeeting, select the no audio. GoToMeeting. Go to browser. Select the settings, no audio. Select the no audio. Save OK. Okay. Yeah, you can talk now.
Now is it okay?
Yeah, now okay.
Okay. So what I was saying, we will start with the introduction and the high-level agenda first, and then we will proceed with the today's discussion. So this is the high-level agenda and the overall plan, how we will go with this training and how we will learn Alfresco. So as you can see, we will start off with the introduction to ECMs, what ECM and Enterprise Content Management is, and why do we need it. Then we will take a look at introduction to Alfresco and where Alfresco fits in this enterprise content management and what it offers to its clients and why do we need it. Then after understanding this, we will take a look at in-depth architecture, how it's built, what Alfresco made up of, and what are the components involved in that. Once we learn this, we will see various versions that available with Alfresco. Like it started from 1.x to its currently 6.x version. So we will take a look at what all versions and what all features and which all components is required to work a particular specific version of Alfresco. So we will take a look at the supported platform stack uh, and what all component we need to take max out of a particular version. Then we will check and install these required softwares before we start developing any new component or any new thing in Alfresco. So we will install this in your machine or wherever you want to develop. It just requires JDK, Maven, and some IDE. That's it. We can start then. Next is we will see once the software is installed, then we will need to install Alfresco as well. There are a couple of ways through which we can start developing in Alfresco. Like we have archetype and we can install directly the installer as well. So both options I will discuss and and walk through with them. And then I will explain some key features which are present in Alfresco, which makes it special and for enterprise applications to use. Then we will go ahead with discussing some open source components which are used in Alfresco, like it is listed, Solar and everything. So we will discuss for what purpose these components are used in Alfresco. Then we will see what all protocols are involved and how do we use these protocols to connect to Alfresco for various needs, right? Then we will take a look at some of the terminologies, because whenever we discussing about Alfresco, we will need these kind of repository UID and everything. We will need these terminologies quite frequently. So we will just discuss about what repository mean, what UID mean, what node-rep mean, everything, so that when we discuss about this, we know what we are talking about and its related concepts. So we will just take the deep understanding of these terminologies. Then we will start with our first sort of customization or development, which is content modeling Alfresco. This is the first point from where we can start, understanding the technicalities of any ECM systems. So this is content modeling in Alfresco, and we will see its related types, contents, everything. Then we will, once we understand the content modeling, then we will go ahead with taking actions in Alfresco. So actions, there is a typo actually, I will correct it, sorry. Actions in Alfresco, we will check out of the box, and we will also create our custom actions. I will show you one example, and then you can also practice later on. So this is how actions can be developed. Behavior. So in Alfresco, apart from actions, behaviors are also there. So these are different from actions in some ways. So we will discuss about that. We will see out of the box behaviors which are present in Alfresco, and how do we create custom behaviors and examples around that. So next is metadata extraction. Just like other functionalities, metadata extraction is like sometimes we need metadata of a file, just like to use in some developing any component or something. So to extract the metadata from a particular document, we have some out-of-the-box metadata extractors, but if required, we can also customize this metadata extraction functionality. So we will see examples of this also. Then we have transformations. So at times it's required that we need to transform the document from one format to another. So Alfresco already provides certain transformers, but we will take a look at customizing those as well if we need to transform from certain other MIME type if required. So we will see example of this as well. Then we have web scripts or REST APIs. So sorry, this web scripts we will also take a look at, and type of web scripts and its examples and everything. So this is also one of the very important concepts in Alfresco. Once we know that, then there are workflows which we can develop in Alfresco. This like automating your entire process for a document, like approving a document or something. So there is a workflow engines available to do that. So we will see, examples of this as well. And then finally, we have search engines. So as you know, we can have search functionality in any application. So in Alfresco, we use Solar and Lucene earlier for handling this search capability. So we will discuss about this, and we will see why we choose, when we choose, what to choose. So, and it's tips like if we wanted to use any search engine, we can, how we can tune and everything. So all this will come in this particular discussion. And then later on, I will cover a session on how we will monitor and administrative activities, like what all problems generally comes in Alfresco, and how we can take corrective actions, and how we can prevent certain issues to handle before even they come. So all those discussions we will do in this particular session. So that's the overall high level agenda. In these sessions, we will discuss one by one. So today we can start with introduction to ECMs, and I will also give you a walkthrough of Alfresco as I have installed on my local. I just will show you how it looks like and how we can change and everything. So let's start with the first slide, which is introduction to ECMs. All right. So before that, Ravi, you are clear with the overall agenda, right?
Clear. Just want to know, when I do some Google search, I come to know that Alfresco is like there are many types, like Alfresco development, Alfresco admin, Alfresco content management.
Right.
So what are all those things? And
So Yeah, I will tell you. See, Alfresco, if you search in any forum, or they will tell you that Alfresco provides you Alfresco content service engineer, Alfresco administrator, Alfresco process services. So all this I have covered in this course only. Like the last slide, it will cover you the most of the part which will be asked in Alfresco certified administrator. So actually, I have gone through that certified administrator course, and I also worked on those syllabus which they normally ask. So in this training, if I tell you overall that administrator thing is also covered quite comprehensively. So we will discuss all of that, and this process services is also included, like workflow is there, and all the repository concepts, everything is involved in this. So it's if you take it as look at the slides, it may look very small topics, but we will discuss in depth and it will be covered everything, Ravi.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Understand.
Yeah, so if required, we can take some other notes as well, because this is simply a high level. Meanwhile, I will explain in the coming sessions. So we will also prepare some, Word document notes or something, so that we can use that for your future preparation and work, right? So don't worry about
Okay.
that. Actually, yeah, and administrative part is not that. Is not that difficult. It just requires some practice, and I will tell you some tips, and it's required understanding whatever we need as part of that Alfresco administrator and process services.
Sure.
Right. Okay. So now let's begin with our first session on Alfresco, which is like introduction to ECM. Now, ECM, as you can see, it's enterprise content management. So I will tell you from where the need for ECM arises. So what happens is, if you see any organization, be it small or medium scale or large scale, they uh, normally produce some data out of it. At the end of the day, they want some data to be stored. Now, what happens with traditional file system or disk? If we store the data on plain disk or traditional file system, what will happen is we will be able to store that, but in order to manage that efficiently, like suppose we are storing lots of data, and that data is not of a single type. It will be of, some are files, some are mails, some are attachments, and things like that. So it's not a proper format. It's unstructured data and lots of data which you don't even know. So traditional file system is not been able to handle that data efficiently. Later on, if you even if you want to store them, and later on if you want to capture or deliver them, it will be very difficult to search particular data from traditional file system, because indexing and other capabilities are not there. So to handle all that data, and to handle all such type of data, that there was a need for some system arises, like we need something which can store, which can capture the data from various systems, which can manage the data, which can store the data, which can preserve the data for a certain time, and which can deliver as per the requirements. So from that type of problem, the need for ECM systems arises. So what ECM systems does is, it's a combination of various components which you can see in the screen, like there is a digital asset management, record management, everything. So these all components are made up of or come under enterprise content management, and each of them having a significant role in managing the data for a particular user. Like if you see, document management is simply managing the documents, all type of documents which comes in Alfresco. And imaging is basically, if you have a image, or a uh, you know uh, a file which doesn't normally index in a particular traditional file system, So Alfresco, what it does is it stores the image, and simply the text cannot be searched. So it uses a internally engine, which is OCR engine, which I will discuss in detail in the later chapters. But for a shorter overview, OCR is simply it scans the image files or the scanned files and it generates the searchable content for that. So in normal, you will not be able to search for an image. I mean the data inside the image, the text inside the image, but Alfresco with the use of OCR in the imaging module, it can convert that non-searchable data to the searchable data. So like that, it uses, and web content management is there, through which we can handle the data which we want to publish on some website. And enterprise search is there. Enterprise search is nothing but this search capability which we were seeing on the in the last slides, like Apache Solar and Apache Lucene is there. So earlier Lucene was there with Alfresco to provide the search capabilities. Now currently it uses Solar. So Apache, it also comes from Apache Foundation, and Solar is currently used. So all that features it uses as part of this enterprise search. Now knowledge management, it basically handles all the data, which is sort of document management type only, but it handles as part of this knowledge management. We will see in the later sessions like how it's different from this. And there are forums also available which you can refer. And business tool and management, record management, digital asset management, collaboration, all this comes under ECM only, and which handles similar type of data and workflows and processes and around that. So overall, if we sorry. So overall, what ECM system does is it captures the data. I mean, you can upload your data inside ECM, and it manages the data as well. Like you can classify your data as per your business, like it is a finance data, it is a sales data, it is something like that. So you can classify as well. You can store the data as per your needs inside this particular classification, and you can preserve it for a certain period. Suppose it's not only about storage, it's also about preserving for a desired period of time, right? Like if you have suppose 10 types of businesses, 10 type of business lines in your enterprise, then sorry, then for 10 type of business lines, you don't want the data to be available for hundreds of years or thousands of years. You don't want that, because at times we may have to think about resources like disk, RAM and everything. So we also want to have something like retention policy. Like for a 10 type of business line, suppose first 5 want their data to be available for next say 5 years, and later on they don't want that data because that is already archived in their system and they don't want to refer anymore. So we also can apply the retention policies. Like for this kind of data, we can apply the retention policy of 5 years or 10 years. So after 10 years, the data will be removed from the system, because if we keep on adding the data without even managing, then it will at some point it will become very difficult to manage in terms of resources and everything. So ECM system has that capability as well to preserve the data according to our needs, and finally it delivers. So it deliver in terms of search capability. Like we can search using file name, we can search using data, whatever is written inside that file, we can search using the keywords which are there in that file. So all that capability comes under this ECM only. So in at a high level, what it does is it captures the data, it manages the data, it stores the data, it preserves the data, and it delivers the data. So these are uh, these are the capabilities which ECM offers. So any questions till now, Ravi?
No, I'm good. Continue.
Yeah, okay. So like I said, ECM systems provide these various modules which we can leverage as per our requirement. And mainly, if you work in future on any of the project, mainly people uses this enterprise search, document management, and this business process management and records management. So what I was talking about the preservation, like to preserve the data at a certain period of time, this record management is useful in that case, because that feature we can develop using this module only. We will later on we will work on these modules only, basically on document management, imaging, enterprise search, records management, things like that only. So this is all about an ECM. Now we will see what Alfresco is and how it fulfills the need of an enterprise. So as you can see, it's an content platform. It's an enterprise content platform which we can use to store our data, be it in a on-premise or in the cloud. So it comes with both the flavors, like you can use it in your on-premise or you can use it in on-cloud flavor. So it basically helps us to store and share the document that every business needs at the end of the day. So it can, as I said, it can manage mostly any type of data, like which normally a business or a company uses, like from simple office documents to images, photographs, and even the video files. So it handles, you can upload the data, it indexes the data, you can search the keywords which are there in the data. Using that, you can search as well, you can generate reports out of it, and lastly, it can Alfresco can be integrated with any external systems as well, very well, like Active Directory or MS Office or LDAP or something. So integration is also very seamless. Alfresco, provides lots of REST APIs and integration APIs through which any external system can easily integrate with Alfresco. So now I will give you just a high level view of how Alfresco looks. So what I have done just for the session for today, I have just installed Alfresco on my this Linux machine. Is Linux installer. Have installed that and just started its process. So it's running. I will just give you a walkthrough of how Alfresco looks like. So as you can see, it's running on my local on 8080 port, and to access it, we need to have this context. So there are three contexts which we will use, or rather two for now, like Alfresco and share. So if we simply click on localhost 8080, we will get Alfresco page, which is simply option we will use Alfresco repository, and it is an online documentation. So if you click on online documentation, you will be redirected to the official documentation of Alfresco, which is docs.alfresco.com. And here you will have every option. If you take a look at this Alfresco content services, so this is providing everything possible which we need, like how to deploy, how to upgrade, how to administrator, how to develop, and how to configure. So everything is there. So we can go through that using this option, online documentation. And then we will have Alfresco repository. So here it provides all these options. Now, first thing to note is it comes as a two flavor at high level, like community and enterprise. So enterprise, as you can understand, it's for enterprise customers and companies which have the license and everything. So they can use that enterprise version. But for our personal purpose, we can install community versions. For now, I have installed community 5.2.0 version. So there are certain differences, obviously, which we will discuss in the later versions, in the later chapters of this session. There are certain differences in terms of community edition and enterprise edition. So we will we will discuss about those in detail. But for now, we have installed community because we are using it just for our personal purpose. So let me just quickly give you a high level idea of what all these links are and why do we need that. So online documentation, I already told you, it gives you the link to Alfresco official documentation. Alfresco share is simply UI, which we will be discussing in this session. Alfresco share is the UI which Alfresco uses. Alfresco web dev um, is also a UI, or is also a system through which we can use Alfresco. So web dev also, we will see, it's a network drive type of connectivity. This will also, we will discuss in the later sessions. uh, Alfresco web script form. So this is like I have discussed, I will just shown you in the later sessions, like we will discuss about web scripts. So this web scripts actually deployed under a particular session or a particular context. So web scripts, Alfresco web script form means it's a marker for the index of all the web scripts. So if we go here, we will see all the web scripts which are present in Alfresco. Like if you browse all web scripts, so it will give you the index of, or the URIs of all the out of the box available web scripts. So when we develop, or when we go through the concept of web script, I will tell you in detail what this page and how to use this. This is that. Then we have Alfresco administration console. So this admin console is used for, checking various things in Alfresco, handling the administrative activities and things like that. So if you click on that, you will see this page, which simply representation of various things. In community, obviously we are not having much options, but when you go for a project or when you use an enterprise version, you will see lots and lots of options in below this. But for community edition, they give some bare minimum set of components like system summary. Here you can see repository information. It is a community version and version label and schema. And all the system information which is getting used in Alfresco, like how much RAM, memory, CPU, and everything. And inside this, we have model and messages control. So if you want to debug anything related to the content model, which we just seen in the high level overview, we can debug using this option. Tenant console is there. So anything related to Alfresco, any issue is coming, or anything related to tenant services, we can debug here. We will debug in whenever we get some issues or whenever we see anything in the later part of this training. Workflow console, as I told you, that we will be seeing how the workflow works. So the workflows, anything related to workflow, if we want to see, if we want to debug, we can use these options, and there are certain commands. If you can see this help page, it will tell you we can use various options to debug the workflow related issues. And this is a node browser. Now node browser is one of the main important thing going forward, because node browser is something we will be using quite frequently. Just to give you what node browser is, actually everything in ECM, or at least in Alfresco, is whatever you store, like it's a document, or it's a folder, or it's a user, or anything, it is a node in Alfresco. Everything is a node. So whatever is stored in Alfresco, it creates a particular ID for that particular node. So everything which we want to debug for that particular node, we can use node browser. Now node browser, we can have various type of stores like user, system, workspace, version, and archive, and everything. So there is a particular dedicated session for this, which is, I think, which is terminologies. Yeah, which is this. So node ref, UID, QNAME, and everything. So we will go through that, all the topics and all the terminologies in this session. So what these stores are at a high level, it's just that if we wanted to search for the live data, like the data which is stored currently in Alfresco, we can use this store. If we want, if we have deleted some data and still it's there in the repository because it's not yet archived, because it is preserved for certain period of data, almost 90 days. So if we want to search on that data, and if we kept the indexing of that particular archival data, we can still search using this store. And we have version store to search on the various versions of that particular document. So likewise, these options are there. We will anyway discuss. Now we have query, like this query, and we have this particular options available. So high level, you can understand this is a node ref. So everything which stores in Alfresco is a node ref. So node ref is something which is unique to a particular document or a user or anything which is stored in Alfresco. So if you store a document, it will have a particular node ref for that. So let me just go there and tell you, like, so if we this is the login page for Alfresco share. It is a community edition, so it's giving us like that. We can obviously customize this if client wants that, so it gives that feature as well. So if you log into Alfresco, you will get a page like this. It's a administrator user which we have used. It's a out of the box user which is provided by Alfresco. So when you install Alfresco, I will anyway install it in your machine if you want and in your system. So that time I will tell you, it gets bootstrapped when you install Alfresco. So this administrator user is actually out of the box user which is provided as part of the installer. So it gives you an overview page like this. This is the administrator dashboard, and here you have get started, which is simply a link of Alfresco documentation. If you click on it, you will be redirected to that documentation, and you can watch this video which simply describes how this dashboard and how to use this dashboard for your needs. So this is the link for that. And then sorry, I have closed that. So that video is very useful if you wanted to have a quick overview of that. And then we have these components. If you see this, my sites, my activities, my tasks, my documents, and everything. So these are all dashlets in share in Alfresco. Like these are all dashlets, and these are all provided by default. So mostly these are sufficient for a particular client, and we can also customize the dashboard. So we can click on the settings and we can choose the layout. We can add these dashlets. So there are certain dashlets which are provided like these, and we can also add this in our dashboard. Like if we want my discussions to be part of this left side column and this web view to be present in the right side column, and if we click OK, these two will be available now on your dashboard. If you scroll down, see my discussions and my web view is now loaded in your dashboard. And then you have these certain options, like this is the search bar. So this search bar is actually used for if you want to search for particular documents or files. So if you type a keyword, it will give you the suggestions. So autocomplete suggestions like this, so that you can use. And if you click on search, it will give you the sorry, it will give you the files which are matching with this particular keyword. So this is the out of the box search which is provided by Alfresco. This is an option we can use to search documents in Alfresco. It actually searches in against the repository. So this is the option we can use. And since I have clicked on search, it is just searching inside the system what all documents are matching in this particular keyword which I have searched. And now once this search is over, I will discuss about these all options which are provided in Alfresco, like what all these options and what those provide. So admin tools is something which I have already showed you from here. Administration console is similar to that. So if you click on this admin console, see that search is now over, and that search, if you see, it's matching the keyword like test. We have provided a search term or a keyword like test. So what it does is it matches that particular word in for that particular document. So this document actually have a description or for that particular document. So it is searching for that, it is matching that particular keyword for that document. So that's how the search is. It gives you the filter also, which we will see anyways when we cover about search or Apache Lucene and Apache Solar. So this is how the search happens. Now I was talking about the options which is provided, like all these options, what these options are and why we should use that. So first option is admin tools. Now admin tools is something which we'll use obviously for the administrative activities. So it is having a application section, which is something like we have theme available in Alfresco, like we have out of the box these many themes in community. So we can have these themes selected for our particular UI. So if suppose if we change from this theme to high contrast themes, we apply, we will see a different theme applied to all the pages of Alfresco. So it once it's loaded, then we will see some change in the UI. You will notice some changes. See, it changes to a high contrast theme, and fonts and everything is changed. So this is the option to choose themes. Obviously, if required, we can also customize this theme. Alfresco provide components to change this theme as well. Then we have category manager. Um, Category manager is something which we will use to categorize our documents and as per our need. So we will provide the category name and we will customize this as well. This is not used very much because anyway we will provide classification from our content model also. Next is module browser. So this is something which is used for module management, because in Alfresco we will have modules or AMPs deployed. So AMPs is something which is Alfresco module packages, AMP. So AMP is used for deploying the if we want any external modules to be deployed in Alfresco. So through this we will see what all is deployed. Currently we will have only Google Docs module deployed. So it shows you this module is deployed in this particular Alfresco installation. So that information we can see here, and I will tell you the AMP also, what structure is and how we can create a particular AMP. If you want any custom AMP to be developed, we have the options available for that. Now it's a node browser, which I think we have already seen from this admin console, but it is also provided here. Similar concept, like I was discussing, the store selection and the language selection. So what it provides, it gives you all these options to debug a particular node information and everything. Now search manager. So search manager is something which we will use for handling the data related to search. So it will give you the information. Actually, we can see this option in enterprise. In enterprise it gives you much better idea about this, but in community, you can still have certain options to debug if a particular document is indexed or not. Actually, Solar has cores and everything, which we will discuss anyways, to see if there is any issue with particular document. At times, it happens that a document is not indexed, so we may need to see if that is getting failed due to some reason, or that particular transaction is having some issues. So we will see how we will debug that. So likewise, these options are available, and this particular model manager, if you see, model manager is something which is provided to create the content modeling from UI. So typically we do content modeling from XML, and we will configure it in the UI, and we will have that model bootstrapped through Spring. But Alfresco also provides the capability to create the model just for the business analyst and everything. They can use this component to create model from UI. They need not to have the XML knowledge and Spring knowledge and Maven knowledge to create those and deploy in Alfresco and everything. So this option provides you the feature to classify the documents from UI only, from the model only, not required to have the typical XML creation and typically bootstrapping from Spring and all. So this is the option provided. And sites manager is used for site managing the sites, which I will discuss when I discuss here. There are options, replication jobs, groups and users. So Alfresco actually, so currently there is only one site which is available, so it's giving you only that site. But I was talking about repository and users and groups. So um, this is the replication job component. So in Alfresco we have um, jobs which does the operations on the document. Like if we want, we can create custom jobs which simply does the operations on documents. Like if we want a particular document to be operated in some particular way, we can create the jobs and we can schedule its frequency to, if we want, we can run twice in a day, thrice in a day, only on weekends, only in night. So those jobs we can configure, and configurations we can manage from here. So currently there are no jobs, so it's not showing anything. And there are users and groups. So if you want to search anything related to a particular user or a group, we can search from here. Like we currently have an administrative user, so it will show you the research result for that. This is that. And I was on this Node browser, so I was to explain why, I mean, how a node ref looks like, and yeah, how to search from here. So let me simply discuss the repository now. This is all about admin tools. Repository is something which is the actual logical storage which you will see. So this is how a repository looks like. This repository is actually the folder structure we will be handling. So these are all folders you are seeing is not actually created by us. This is something which Alfresco bootstrap when we install Alfresco as a core product. So I actually installed last night. So it, as you can see, it's saying modified a day ago or something. So it's bootstrapped by Alfresco. Um, it simply gives us this structure. So I was explaining about the node ref. So if you see, everything is a node ref in Alfresco. So if you go to the sites, so this is a site, and we can have its, see, if we click on the view details, we will get this node ref. So I was talking about the node ref. So this is how it looks like. This is a workspace space store, and then there is a UID appended in that. If you are not able to follow along, just don't worry, we will have a session dedicated for this. I'm just explaining the components, so that's why I'm just copying that and just showing you how to search that particular thing in admin browser. So if you search here, you will get the information about this particular node. Like node information is there, its type, so it's a site type of document, sorry, site type of folder. It gives you the properties or the metadata which we call for that particular type. So this is all metadata for that. Like I will tell you in when I go to the modeling, like CM name is actually the name of that particular folder. So SWSTP, so it's the name of that particular folder. So likewise, all these are the metadata for that particular folder. So this you will get when you search from a node browser or a node ref. Aspects are there, children's are there, parents are there, and permissions and everything. So this is how a node ref look like. So all other options are like FTS Alfresco, which is simply a full text search. FTS stands for full text search. So full text search query, if you want, we can choose this option. If we want a Lucene search, so Lucene, as I told you earlier, it's a Apache Apache Foundation product. So Lucene query, if you want to execute, we can choose this option. We can choose a XPath query and others query as well, CIMS and everything. So as per the need, we can use this. So this is all about searching in node browser. And then I was telling you about the repository. So in repository, I told you this is how a node ref look like and what these folders are. So this is the data dictionary. Data dictionary is basically a very important part of Alfresco. If you in future, if you want to change anything which you don't want to do that via code, via normal SDLC cycle. So this data dictionary folder gives you certain options where you can develop your customization like JavaScript or anything, and you can deploy and you can upload that particular uh, Java script component or any file within this data dictionary. Of course, this have certain subfolders inside this. So each of them having certain purpose for that. So likewise, I will give you an idea of why this data dictionary is and why we need this. So in data dictionary, as you can see, we have all these options available. So suppose um, if we want to have a new workflow uh, definition to be deployed, then we can develop that and drop or upload that particular file inside this folder. So it doesn't need to be deployed on the server, and it will be available during the Alfresco is live only. We don't need to restart or we don't need to do anything. It will be available during the application uptime only. So this is the workflow definitions. um, we will have other options like web script extensions. So if we want, we can upload a newly created web script extension inside this folder, a newly created web script inside this folder. We can create a subfolders also, and we can define its um, uh, uh, URI, and we can even upload the logic as well. And email templates is simply if you want to have certain uh, templating for, if we want to use certain templating for email notifications in our customization, we can do that using this email templates, and lots and models also we can deploy. So likewise, this we can explore. So the overall purpose is of having this data dictionary is to we can deploy quickly. If we wanted to debug something, we can create this the same XML configuration or something, and then we can simply upload inside data dictionary, and we can check that. So there are templates as well, space templates as well, everything. So these concepts, once we know, then we will be much clear on why this folder is special. So this is about data dictionary, and this is guest home, IMAP attachment, IMAP form, shared sites, user homes. So these are all folders dedicated for particular user. So um, this is for a particular user, like user homes is there, shared folder is there if you want to share anything. And this is a site. So site is something which is a particular company. If you want 10 different sites, like 10 different business lines, we can create 10 different sites. So currently this is a sample site, but we can create our own site as well using this option. So we can choose create site. We can select its name, like suppose it's a marketing site, so we can name it accordingly. It's a site. It automatically fills its site ID. We can fill the description and simply choose the visibility, and we can simply click on create. So it will create that site in the repository. So repository, when I talk about repository, is something which is a combination of content, indexes, and metadata. So this anyway we will discuss in the later sessions. But as a high level, repository is what? Repository is a combination of everything which we will discuss, like it's a metadata, it's a content store, and it's storage. So the site is created. If you go now in the repository, and if you click on sites, you should see a new folder created for marketing, because we have created a new site, marketing. And inside marketing we have a document library. Here we can create our custom folders and play around with it. So this is all about repository. Then we have people option in the header. So this is for searching for people present in Alfresco. So just like user search. So people is also a API available, which we will see when we will work on the web scripts. So this is component for that. And tasks is for handling the workflow related issues. Like we have my task workflows I have started. So if you click on this, you will see if there is any task is assigned to your particular name. This will be visible here. Active task, completed task, all these filters are available. Then we have sites, as I shown you. This is for creating various business lines. So we can create a site from this option. And we have shared files option, which is simply if we want to share some files across various sites, we can we can put them here. And your particular files which you are using is comes under this view. If you are editing some files, I'm editing others and everything, it comes here. And this home is basically the dashboard which we have seen. So this provides this dashlates overview. If we can also customize this as from this option, as I told you. Last but not the least is this drop down, which is simply an option of customizing your profile. Like if you want to change password, if you want to log out and your profile, you can do that from here. So this is about an overview of how Alfresco looks like when you install it from scratch. So this is the newly installed Alfresco which I just told you. So that's simply overview of Alfresco. So any questions, Ravi?
So like Alfresco searches for the content which from the video file. That is what you are telling.
Yeah, it stores that is, as you can see, the video is in the form of pixels and video format. So there are options to index that as well. We will discuss in the search. When we will discuss about search capability, we will discuss in detail how Alfresco indexes various MIME type of data. like plain data, video data, and any other data basically which we want to index in Alfresco. Okay.
I mean, video data means the content inside the video, or just like a video ID or something like that.
It has the option to do the both. Like video name is there, right? So it can search on the basis of name as well, and on the basis of the data inside that video, right? So that particular for doing that particular, I think we need a digital asset management module as well. So through that we can achieve that. I will show you a particular example also when we will customize our search, right? So then
Sure.
we will see. Yeah.
And
Anything
one,
if anything is specific to these two slides, if you want you can ask.
yeah, and one more thing, the site which you said, right? Site means it is just creating a folder, or just are we creating any links for that? What
So
is it?
it's
What exactly the site is?
Yeah, so the site is actually in Alfresco. We have a option of site which is simply you can say it's a folder only. It's a folder only for creating I mean to manage different business lines. So in site we can, I mean it's just a plain folder structure only. The meaning of a particular site is that you can share the data between the users of a particular site. So that's why it named as a site, but it internally it's a folder structure only which you can use for your particular business line in under a particular site. So yes, it's a folder structure only.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah, thanks. So I hope the meeting is also recorded, right, Ravi? Sorry, Siva. Hello, Siva is there with us or only we?
I don't know.
Oh, okay, okay. So I think for today we are pretty much done with our topics like ECM and Alfresco high level. So we are done with these two. If there are any queries, you can still ask tomorrow, and I will try to answer those. So in the later on sessions, we will start with the next set of slides, architecture and various versions of Alfresco and everything. So we'll start with that. So just you can go through the docs.alfresco.com and let me know if there are any questions. I think for today we are fine. Okay.
Okay, and one more thing, I am using Windows laptop. I'm not using Mac or Ubuntu.
Okay.
So how does it work
No
with
problem.
this? Or,
Yeah. It will work on both. I mean, even on the Mac also. So it works on Windows, Linux, Mac, or everything. There is no problem with that. I will help you in installing on your machine and setting up everything on your machine. So Windows, it works fine. No problem.
thanks.
Yeah. Okay. So I think we will bind this up, and we will meet tomorrow. Yeah.
Okay, sure. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye bye.